Hi everybody, it's Lola. I just got back from my first ever solo trip to Bali, Indonesia. The experience was absolutely unforgettable and I just wanted to share some information in case anybody was looking to do the same. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm going to talk about the things I liked, the things I loved, the things I didn't like so much, the things I do again, and the things that I maybe wish I did. So yeah.
So I stayed in this gorgeous Airbnb in Canggu. It had this amazing outdoor shower, which at first was scary because this giant black beetle flew at me the first night while I was taking a poop, but then I came to really like it. There's a restaurant on the property called Anita's Warung, and Anita just knows what she's doing with the food there. Look at the pretty flowers. This Airbnb was only 10 minutes away by scooter from Batu Belong Beach. Initially, I was worried about not being walking distance from the beach, but honestly, with the Gojek app or with the Grab app, it's really hassle-free to rent, have somebody come pick you up in a scooter. And it costs less than like $1. So Canggu is one of the most popular places to visit in Bali, and I actually really liked it. Canggu has Batu Belong Beach, which you see here. It's a long beach. It's really good if you like to take walks on the beach. The beach itself is very scenic with the different rocks and temples and things like that. And once you get there, there's also plenty of people offering surfing lessons, and you can also rent a board. Surfing lessons you can do for about $20 US, and then you can rent a board for about $3. There's also shopping near the beach, and there's so many cheap spas where you can get a massage for like $10 US. There's plenty of delicious places to eat. I really like the location. In Canggu, you also have a couple different beach clubs. I went to Finn's Beach Club and had a pretty good time. For some reason, they took my selfie stick and my gum before I walked in, but that's fine, whatever. I think that going out at night might be a little bit intimidating for female solo travelers, but honestly, if you're bored one night, why not? I'd say it was worth going to once.
So now I want to talk about the things I did while being based in Canggu.
So while being based in Canggu, I was an hour away from Port Sonor. Port Sonor is where you can take ferries to other islands such as Nusa Penida, Lombok, Lembagan, etc. I ended up going to Nusa Penida on 2 separate occasions. The first time I ferried over and then paid somebody to take me to the dinosaur cliff on the back of a scooter. And then the second time I actually did the snorkeling, which was gorgeous. You get a lot of really beautiful views from the ocean off of the boat. For about 1,000 IRP, you can actually do the day tour of the actual island and the snorkeling together in one day, but I just kind of did it this way as a result of poor planning on my part. But I'm actually glad with how it turned out because the scooter ride just throughout the island, that was basically just like a nice private experience, ended up being really special. For the snorkeling tour, the ferry leaves at 8 in the morning, so try and book that one ahead of time, maybe a day or two in advance. Another thing that I did was I hired a driver to do a day trip to Ubud. Depending on which part you go to, Ubud can be about 1 hour to 2 hours away from Canggu. It's more inland, so it's a much different vibe as well. Here, I really like the views on the way up there. I could see lots of different rice paddies, and this was really giving me the scenic Bali images that I had in my mind when I came here. My driver's name is Bagus, and he was super nice and very helpful, and he had good tips to give about where to go and things like that. So the first thing we did was this ATV course. I had never done an ATV course before, and I did fall into the rice paddy, so I would not recommend the Ubud one for beginners. But what was really nice was when we stopped halfway for a rest, we pulled over to this small temple that was kind of on the back roads along the ATV course. And I had a really nice time here. I thought it was very beautiful. My driver Bagus also convinced me to do the Bali Swing, even though I initially did not really want to do it, but I'm so glad I did because the pictures came out gorgeous. I was initially turned off to the Bali Swing because some people said it was too touristy, but I mean, it's a really beautiful view there, and I'm happy that I got the pictures that I did. Here's some more views of the temple that was along the ATV course. A lot of the Bali Swing places also have restaurants or warungs where you can sit at and get a view of that kind of like overlook of the jungle that you swing over. So that can be a nice way to spend your time, I think. Here's some more views of the Bali Swing location that I went to. The people that take your pictures there are surprisingly very talented because they just take all of them on an iPhone too, and they come out looking amazing. They have this cool like reflective surface thing that they'll put up to your camera lens to make it look like you're almost being photographed over water. It's really interesting to see them do it. This is some footage of the restaurant that I mentioned. You can really just chill here if you wanted to. Another thing I did in Ubud was I went to the monkey forest. In hindsight, I think I would have listened to my driver's advice and skipped this one because he said that the area is very trafficky, which it was, and that there are other things to see in Ubud. Although all in all, it was still interesting. Got to see some of the monkeys, and yes, they are a little bit aggressive. Some interesting different stone sculptures and things like that. There is a temple in the monkey sanctuary as well. One thing I noticed is that you don't really get a whole lot of information about the temples, as I guess it's just an active temple and they're not really going to tell you much about the history. It's just something that's a part of life, I guess. All in all, I did get some nice views, like these really, really big palm trees in the jungle. And also my driver did stop at a supermarket, so I was able to get some mangosteens and try this snake fruit. I'd seen it all the time on Instagram, and then I finally got to try it. It was like a pineapple with the texture of a real apple. Another thing I did while staying in Canggu was I visited the temple in Uluwatu. It took me about 2 hours by Gojek scooter to get here from Canggu. I would say that the cliff views were more beautiful than the actual temple itself. I think if I were staying in Uluwatu, I would visit this place, but staying in Canggu, I think that this could have been skipped.
So now let's talk about my final thoughts. After 6 full days of being there, I spent about 4 sightseeing and doing touristy things, and then I spent 2 just kind of chilling.
I think you don't really realize how big Bali is until you get there, so it's kind of like there's a few cool things to do in this area and then a few cool things to do in this area. So I think it would have been smart to stay in 2 different locations as opposed to just one. Another thing I'd recommend doing is booking your tours a day or 2 in advance. I use Viator a lot. You can often book a driver for $30 to $60 US per day. It's super easy. Some of the things are pretty easy to get a spot for, but the snorkeling tour, I recommend booking at least a day or 2 in advance for sure.
Please wear sunscreen. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Wear your sunscreen. I got burnt the first day and my entire body peeled, and there's currently dead skin all over my apartment floor here in South Korea.
I don't typically burn easily, but the Bali sun does not play. All in all, I think my trip was very successful and I would definitely like to come back. The next time I go, I'd like to spend some time in Ubud as well. I think what was blocking me from going more inland was that I feel like if I'm going to an island, I have to be near the beach, but don't have this in your head because you're really going to be missing out if you don't venture a little bit more into the island. I've also been told that the more east you go, the more authentic of an experience you're going to get, and I've heard really great things about Kintamani. So that's a place I'd be interested in staying a couple nights in the next time that I go. There it's very peaceful and mountainous. And in Ubud, I feel like there's a lot of pretty walking paths through the rice paddies and the jungle.
So yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. This concludes the video. Please comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for anybody else that would like to travel to Bali. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and enjoy